In this video, we're going to talk about the Voyant charts. I think it's important to know what charts are available to you so that you know how to navigate them and discuss different items in your client's plan with them. We're going to start on the timeline. Be aware that you have the goals featured here in your timeline so that you can discuss whether or not your clients are on track to meet their goals. In this plan, we have our client's retirement goal featured prominently here. We also have a big family vacation. You can hover over their goals and it's going to stand out on the timeline so that you can see when these goals are scheduled to occur on the timeline. And you can even hover over any of the events on the timeline to see what they are. And if you needed to add anything else to the timeline while you're having conversations with your clients, you can just click on this plus button in the bottom right and add goals, which are trackable expenses, events, which are just place markers, or you can even add additional stages, which are these items here, which kind of break up the timeline and give more customization to your clients' different stages of life. Let's now go over to Let's See, which is where our charts are. And I'm going to start off on single chart. Voyant's charts are simple, which is by design. Know that each bar in the chart is a single year. You can click on it and see what year you're looking at, what your client's ages are in that year. You'll see the total need, which represents your client's total expenses in that year. The expenses include their expenses, their goals, their estimated taxes for that year, and also their basic need. Their basic need represents just their basic expenses, which does not include any contributions or luxury expenses that year. And we can see to savings, that's going to include any contributions or any surplus income in the plan that has been redirected to their cash surplus account. And then also know blue is going to be good. That means they are meeting all of their expenses. You can see up here on the legend, all shortfall, full is going to be red. So if they were not meeting their expenses in that year, you would see red in the chart. If you turn on the details, you can see a bit more information about how we are meeting these expenses. So you can see we've got other income in the plan. That's going to be from their rental income, and then the blue is from their employment income. And then later in the retirement years, we're meeting their expenses through various sources from their invested assets, like their brokerage accounts, their planned withdrawal from a 401k, their rental income, and then we've got some Social Security and 401k plans and other assets. Let's go next. You can switch to other charts using this arrow on the right hand side, or you can use the drop down to select the chart that you would like. So let's move over next to our assets chart. And my legend is already on, but if you don't see your legend, you can just click these three dots here on the right hand side and select legend. So you can see what accounts you are looking at via the color coding up here at the top, and you can hover over any bar in the chart to see the balance in those accounts. And I can see that in the year that I'm looking at here, 2041, we've got an estimated value of the main residence, the rental property, Judy's 401k, and we've got a total asset value of 3.8 million. And if I wanted to see what just their liquid assets are valued at, I can even deselect the properties here. You can do that for any of the assets, and then you can click again and see just what the liquid assets are valued at in that same year. And you could even hide all and just look at a specific account and see what that account would be valued at, for example, at the end of the plan. And you can continue to go through your various charts and look at different ones to see what's going on in each individual year, ask different questions. So for example, you might look at the cumulative taxes for this plan. And I can do that by hovering over the final year of the plan and looking at the cumulative tax section down here at the bottom. And that might generate a conversation about how you might reduce their overall taxation throughout the lifetime of the plan, different strategies for this one. Would a Roth conversion be a good idea? You might run an insight on that one just to see if that may make sense for them. There's various different conversations you might have just by looking at these various different charts. We also have the option to zoom in on various stages in this plan, so you can click that 3 dots again and turn on the zoom. And then there is a slider bar where you can zoom in on various sections, and you could go back to different periods of time and just get a deeper view, focus on specific times during the plan. Let's zoom out, turn off our legend, and turn off our cash flow and go back to the main view. I hope that this has been helpful. If you have any questions and you'd like help or assistance with any of the plans that you're working on, please feel free to always reach out to your Voyant support team. You can reach us by clicking the name of your client in the top right, requesting support, entering your question into the text box, and sharing client access. Thank you for listening.